What's up, guys? This is SanchoWest, and welcome to the CheckPoint Amigos show. This is the one-man show keeping you up to date with all the nerdy news that I find awesome. So we got video games, we got movies, we have wrestling, all in one podcast, and I'm going to go through everything that happened in the past week. If you're listening right now, that means you are a supporter on Patreon. Thank you so much for supporting the show on patreon.com/SanchoWest. $1 gets you in, $1 gets you the show 3 days early. Because if you're listening on Sunday, you got it on Patreon. If you're listening on Wednesday, then you got the show for free on YouTube and things like sort on Spotify. Or I don't know, I'm not going to be on Spotify, but on SoundCloud and all the different places around the world. So I welcome you guys. We've had this podcast for a while and a long ways, and we're just bringing it back. I normally operate with another co-host, but for now, we're just going to keep it simple, keep it solo, and we're going to go ahead and go through it. So the way it goes is we tackle a main topic, and then we tackle all the news, and then we talk about what's happening at the end. And I mean we, the royal we, the editorial we that's you guys listening. So I appreciate you guys' support. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Ever since I lost my job, I've been trying to focus on making your support mean it. You know, I want to make this my full-time gig. I want to make this my passion. I want to make it work. So let's just get down to it. Let's go ahead and talk about the big topic. The big topic of the podcast is battle royales. Is it a fad? A lot of the battle royales scene, for those of you who don't know what they are, battle royales is just like a huge amount of players playing against one map, and they always fight to the last man standing, the number one winner. And this fad is just taking over everywhere. We're talking about YouTube, Twitch. It's in the mainstream. It's something that a lot of people think that it's just going to fade out and it's going to go away. But I simply believe that battle royales are here to stay. Battle royales are the new standard. Battle royales are what to Call of Duty was, like first-person shooters, all those kinds in the early 2000s, you know, Halo 2, Halo, all those kinds of things. This is what battle royales are for this generation of gamers. First-person shooters are the same as battle royales. And the reason I really believe that battle royales are here to stay is simply because they're just bringing in so much cash. All the news that we have this week are really about Fortnite dominating the scene. Fortnite just destroying Players Unknown Battlegrounds in terms of viewage on Twitch and all those kinds of things. And it's just a phenomenon that I really believe that I just can't imagine that developers at the AAA level, meaning that the people like at EA, at Rockstar, that are not saying to themselves, how can we take advantage of this battle royale phenomenon? And that's what I'm talking about. And we already seen some early signs of the AAA space getting into it. Just recently, Dying Light, I know it's not big AAA, but the Dying Light is getting into the space. They are releasing a new standalone multiplayer that allows 6 players get dropped in on an island, right? And you have to go ahead and collect DNA from the zombies. So you're not only going up against the 6 players, but you're also going up against the AI trying to collect these DNA samples to get off the island. Now, it's only a 6-man battle royale, so I really believe it's just another marketing employee because it's really just a free-for-all, right? So we're going to see a lot of different marketing spins, a lot of different PR trying to get the buzzword battle royale into their games. And this is just the beginning. We haven't seen anything from DICE. We haven't seen anything from Ubisoft. And those engines that they have supporting those games will no doubt make some awesome battle royales. For the longest time, as soon as battle royales hit the scene, something in the DICE engine would be quite amazing. And what's interesting is that we're just going to see more variations of battle royale. Right now, this is just the surface, because right now we're getting the basic in terms of like find everybody, get them all dead, kill them, and that's it. But now I'm sure we're going to find some more story-driven battle royales, more objective-based battle royales. If you guys have been following me on this channel, on my YouTube video page, I released a video why The Last of Us 2 should have a battle royale, and to make it more intimate, a 32-man battle royale, or a 32-man quote-unquote free-for-all, and that would be very objective-based, a more polished look, more a Naughty Dog look. And it just to me, there's no doubt in my mind that you cannot ignore the power of the battle royale. And I've been wondering for the people in the audience out there, you know, is there something that you're not liking about battle royale? Comment down below, let me know what you think about that, because I really, no doubt, battle royales are here to stay. they're easy to watch. The spectating sport about it. I think Fortnite's going to get into the big competitive scene. Seeing you already have people like FaZe, TSM, the Team Solo Mid. All those teams are getting popular players involved, and I just don't see it slowing down. It has to pick up. This is just the beginning. The only way, I mean, there's like the only way the battle royale genre dies is if it becomes overly saturated. And I think a lot of the companies are being a little bit smarter this time around about getting into the fray. You do not want to have a battle royale that's a dud, because Twitch audience will eat it up and destroy it, and it will get buried quickly. And I really believe there's a lot of pressure for video gamers, developers these days to get their launch correct. Because if your launch is bad with social media, with Twitch, with YouTube, with so many eyes and so many people able to voice their opinion, your game could literally just die. And we'll get more into that in a little bit of the news. Battle Royales, here to stay. If you're not into the Battle Royale genre, let me know. And I really believe that a lot of people are not in the Battle Royale genre simply because it's just not, there's pretty bare bones. Once we get past that bare bones, add a little, spice, a little story to it, who knows where we can go. Let's go ahead and get into more of news out there in the video game world. Let's stick with multiplayer. This comes from charlieintel.com. Sources: Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered has no multiplayer and not developed by Raven Software. So for those of you who are familiar, Call of Duty franchise has already remastered Call of Duty 1. So all of a sudden you have all these people here just trying to find, what ended up happening is Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out, right, and totally cannibalized any momentum that I think it was Black Ops 3, I believe, came out at the same time as well. So Call of Duty Remastered came out, the multiplayer pool got split. And no doubt, I believe Activision does not want that to happen with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty World War 2. Call of Duty World War 2 had a shaky start. There was a lot of issues with the servers. I mean, it has those weird drop boxes, those supply drops. I kind of got into Call of Duty World War 2. It's a pretty fun way. It's Call of Duty all over again, but visually, in terms of watching as a spectator sport, it's really hard to keep up because Call of Duty World War II came out right when PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds was around, and all those views went to PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and poor Call of Duty World War II was cannibalized, and they do not want that to happen any further. So I could see why Modern Warfare 2 would not have a multiplayer. I have to make a big disclaimer for everyone out there. I do not play Call of Duty for the single player campaigns. I know I will get hate for that. I get personal hate again from my friends about it, no doubt in my mind. I know it's a very cinematic experience. It's one of the best first person shooters out there in terms of story wise, but I'm a sucker for multiplayer. I have to play multiplayer, and if I fear every second that I'm not playing multiplayer, I'm falling way behind. So all my friends, they always make fun of me for not playing Call of Duty. And again, single player. I didn't even play The Last of Us single player until months after getting into the multiplayer. So, but the biggest thing is that, without Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, that is the big what, because it is one of the granddaddy of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and it's one of my favorite Call of Duties. It's the one I really got into. It's the one that I really got into the YouTube scene, watching videos of trying to get better of Hutch, only use my blade and me blade. And so now because it's been confirmed right now by Eurogamer that they're not going to have it, and immediately the Call of Duty is at an uproar for about the whole thing. And I don't know. I think it's a big mistake. The biggest sin that you can do in your multiplayer is separating your player pool, and it's hard to have so many things. I feel like as a gamer, as I get older, you may feel the same way as well. I feel like a lot of things is pulling my attention, and especially with a big juggernaut in Battle Royale, as we talked about in the opening topic. Man, I feel bad for all those Call of Duties, and especially the remasters, to have Call of Duty Remastered without its multiplayer is big red flag. Let's go to the next story. GameSpot has this story that major Star Wars Battlefront 2's update out now, and here is what's new. DICE previously detailed all the ways in which progression is changing. You'll only earn star cards and items that impact gameplay by playing. They can't be purchased. That means crates no longer have star cards in them. Instead, they have things like credits and cosmetic items. You'll continue to have access to any items you have already unlocked, and all the heroes and hero ships have been unlocked for everyone. Additionally, arcade mode will see all epic star cards and weapons available for use without needing to unlock them first. So, for those of you in the dark about the Star Wars Battlefront 2 saga, so Star Wars and EA landed with a dud, a big, huge dud. They were swamped with the controversy of the loot crate system, of the predatory loot crate system. They were swamped with microtransactions. All that kind of stuff literally, no doubt, destroyed Star Wars Battlefront. So right now, EA is doing all that it can to get it out, to literally to be like Luke taking out his X-Wing right out of the Dagobah system, the swamps of the Dagobah. They're really trying to Yoda this thing and try to salvage Star Wars Battlefront 2. It's really cool for those people that are big fans of Star Wars to get back into it. I just think it's way too late. It's way too late to get back into Star Wars Battlefront 2, and considering that you have the lifers or the sweaties, the tryhards, the people that are saying, you know what, they look past all the swamps, they look past all the controversies, and they just love the game itself. So you can probably run into all those guys, but man, it just shows that it's important to get your launch right, to not have any controversies, because it's like your first impressions to the gamer world is a lot shorter and less forgiving these days. And boy, I feel bad for it, because it's a cool game. I enjoyed it, and it's really awesome. But at the same time, you know, competing interests all over the place. Man, this big competing interest has me hooked like really bad. So I'll call this segment, since most doubt they're gonna always constantly update stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the Fortnite Tower. Let's go to the first story for Fortnite Battle Royale. If you don't like this, you could just try to skip ahead as best as possible, because we're gonna go ahead and cover a lot of Fortnite right now. This first story comes from Kotaku. I'm always going to butcher that, by the way. Get used to it. Teens and teachers say Fortnite Mobile is destroying some schools. That's a really crazy word. Quote, there has been a rise in the number of incidents with students walking into class while playing the game, says Nick Gutierrez, a high school AP computer science teacher, told Kotaku. They started a match during lunch or before school and need to finish the 10 to 15 minute long matches. I've noticed in my room students sitting next to each other trying to play while pretending to do work. So basically, kids are going crazy for Fortnite Mobile. Fortnite is everywhere. It's just released on mobile. There is a story that Fortnite in the first 3 days made $1.5 million on mobile just through the cosmetic transactions. In a nutshell, Fortnite is everywhere. Fortnite is already crossing into different genres and different realms. It's already in the music. It's already in sports. And it's just, you know, everyone's doing their taunts and everywhere. And now it's invading the classrooms. I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, I never really got, I mean, granted, technology was different that day, but I mean, the only thing I got away with was playing video games in class. There was two things: either in computer class you played video games, and it was always the stupid Flash mini putt games from Lifesavers, or playing fantasy football in class. And that was the only thing I got away with. And it's just insane. If you look on Twitter, you see everybody playing in class. There's teachers confiscating phones, so it's called the Fortnite dump bin. So I just don't get it. And there's a meme. There's people going on Twitch streams saying they're watching so-and-so in class. I honestly think, man, it's just one. I mean, video games will always be there. You know, do your work, do your school. That way you can do something you really want. That way you have the free time to play video games. They have the means to do it. But it's just unbelievable that this is a phenomenon, and it's rare in video games. The last time they had this is Pokemon Go, but Pokemon Go only was a phenomenon in the people that were fans and like little casual fans. This one's spreading towards everybody, and everybody's talking about Fortnite. And this next story is Tyler Bevins, aka Ninja, says he makes about $500,000 a month playing video games. Now, this is just, I just want to pick the story out because I really enjoyed Ninja's CNBC appearance, his interview he did. What gets me peeved is that the headlining, the clickbaiting, is that this guy is making $500,000 playing video games a month. And I just want to get this out there because what I really like about Ninja is that his grind, his ability to work really hard. That dude streams 2 times a day, and he grinded himself to death on games like Halo. And now that he has a stage to do it, he gave a very eloquent and he represented not only Twitch streamers out there, broadcasters, but also video gamers out there. And he also had a message to say to stay in school and to do your work, and because I'm sure he's seeing that what the headline is very, very, like, lack of a better word, predatory. It's saying like, yo, you could make it out there. You could make $500,000 playing video games. You just got to go ahead and fire up Twitch and grind yourself to death, and you could be a $500,000. Don't go to school, drop out of school, and just be a Twitch star. And that's what's dangerous about these. And you know what's crazy is I feel like the media is not responsible for, it's just once that daily click, and it's not responsible for the rest of the ride. You know what I'm saying? And so Ninja understands that he's responsible for the rest of the ride, and that people are going to come to him and they're going to look up to him. Like, kids everywhere are going to look up to him. And I'm just proud that he was able to make that appearance and able to do that interview very well. There's things, in terms of personality from Ninjas, that is very polarizing. Some people like him, some people don't. I respect the man. I respect his, like I said, his grind, his work ethic is just insane. And so that was really cool, that moment right there, that interview he was able to do. Speaking of more cool things, Epic Games is introducing a replay system. This is from Ali A's Twitter. OMG, it's Ali A. He says, here's the world's first look at the type of content you could create at home using the new replay system in Fortnite Battle Royale. So the video is amazing. You should definitely look it up, but I'm very excited for it. For me personally, for those of you watching who love my YouTube content for Fortnite, it's going to give me the ability to do more things. Hopefully it runs smooth. The Unreal Engine replay system is pretty solid, and the trailers that they have been making were using this engine, and the trailer that Ali A's Twitter account uses is pretty cool. You could track, you could kind of free cam, the drone cam they call it. Back in my day, it was called free cam, but now it's called drone cam. So you can follow players, and I had some crazy stories, some cinematic stories that I want to tell. And that's what I really like about Battle Royales, is that it's a cinematic story. You could tell a story, and now that they add these replay systems, I can make that story cinematic. That's what I was trying to say. So there's a story to be told. Every game's different, and every ending's different. Every ending's unique, and that's what's really cool, because Call of Duties and things like that, just to bring that back, Call of Duties, what they struggle is like the gameplay themselves, the matches, it's just a rinse and repeat without any consequences. But when you add stakes to it, when you add some fire to the matches, you add some interest, then that's where people who just love to watch it. Now, other things that people like to watch, Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers had this crazy reveal. Nintendo had this awesome reveal trailer for Smash Brothers. So it is coming for the Switch. It's kind of like a dumb moment, but what the news story that I want to get to is Kotaku say Nintendo would hold a Smash Brothers Switch tournament in June. So that's going to be at E3, and not only they're going to do that, they're going to also do the Splatoon 2. So the article says the debut of Smash Brothers, Super Smash Brothers on Nintendo Switch is finally within spitting distance. On June 11th through 12th, Nintendo will host a Smash Switch tournament at E3 where invited players will compete at the recently announced title. At the same time, Nintendo's Splatoon 2 World Championships will take place, featuring top teams from Canada, Europe, Australia, and Japan. So if you're in the Los Angeles area for E3, you might get to see some footage. I predict that we'll get a trailer at E3, maybe a Nintendo Direct before it. I would love to see Nintendo back on stage for E3. I understand that the Nintendo Direct is a nice little capsule size, a moose boosh of whatever that they have, but something awesome about being on stage and having the big screens and the crowd going crazy. So that was an awesome reveal by Smash, and I, for one, am really excited for Smash, simply because I missed out on the Smash stuff because I didn't have a Wii, I didn't have a Wii U. The only time I had Smash available for me was Melee, and the really cool short story is I used to play Melee in college a lot, and one cool story was I was in a theater show, and the stage manager, which is, for those of you who know, a stage manager is pretty much runs the whole rehearsal experience. After a show, he has the keys to the theater, and we would be in the dressing room, and literally we would play from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. in the in the haunted theater. We would play. It was haunted, no lie. It was a haunted theater, but we would play Smash, and he would own me with his Peach, and I would do my best with my Zelda and with my Link. And I'll do my best with anything that could grasp hands on it, because the dude, He was really good. He was a really good Peach. So I'm really excited to see Smash Brothers hit the scene. I'm really excited to see Smash Brothers be like streamed and all those kinds of things. And other people are excited to see Smash, and this story from Kotaku as well. Microsoft's executive is open to putting Banjo in the new Smash Brothers. In this article, quote, yesterday, an eager fan asked Phil Spencer, who heads the company's Xbox division, if he'd be interested in seeing Banjo in Smash, and he said, yep. Now, this wasn't the only time that Phil Spencer has rumored to back in 2015 on the Wii U. It was something that he would like to see as DLC. But the main story behind all this is that it always is interesting that Microsoft is always willing to be, it's always down, for lack of a better phrase, is always down to clown. And I really believe it's because, and I got to work on that phrase, I really believe, duh, you really believe it because you're saying it. Xbox and Microsoft is always willing to dance with anybody because it needs to be on the, it needs headlines. It needs to be in part of the lexicon. It needs to be in the conversations. And what a great way to bring a great character back for the Nintendo 64, Banjo-Kazooie, back into the fold by letting him be in Super Smash Brothers. And his moveset would be kind of cool. A lot of people wanted Banjo because Banjo has Kazooie as well. So you have all these kinds of different options for him, but at the front of this whole thing is Microsoft always wanting to do crossplay. It's always wanting, back in when Rocket League wanted Xbox and PlayStation play together. Now Microsoft is saying like, hey, we're down for Fortnite to play with PlayStation. And I really think it's because they're struggling. They don't have a lot of consoles out there in the world. And that's a great way to keep up. And PlayStation is just sitting there like, yo, man, we don't have to do anything. We don't have to be a part of any kind of party. We're here chilling by ourselves. So as you can see, I think Microsoft is always going to try to look like the good guy. Now that wraps up all the video game stuff. Let's get to the movies. Box office numbers are insane for Black Panther. It becomes the top grossing superhero film of all time in the United States. This comes from the Hollywood Reporter. Quote, the Disney and Marvel release achieved the milestone on Saturday after passing up fellow Marvel title The Avengers, which grossed $623 million in 2012. To boot, Black Panther is only one of the 7 films to ever earn $600 million or more domestically, and it currently ranks number 6 on the list. Black Panther has shattered numerous milestones since opening in theaters on February 16th. Globally, the film has earned north of $1.2 billion to date. By the end of Sunday, it will leap past Iron Man 3 to become the third biggest comic book adaptation behind the Avengers, $1.5 billion, and the Avengers Age of Ultron, which was a movie, $1.4 billion. And wow, that's amazing. And I saw another tweet that Black Panther is the most tweeted movie of all time. I really like Black Panther. It was a really cool movie. Just to give you a short, I really believe it should have been made by someone else, by Disney, but except Disney. I feel like Disney kind of prevented it because it had a really hard hitting message. It was dropping a lot of bombs and a lot of political messages in it, and I think that the messages were kind of Disneyfied, where it couldn't show the impact of what a lot of the characters were saying. I don't want to spoil it for those of you who haven't watched it. I do believe it was overhyped, though. A lot of people were saying that it's like the best Marvel movie they ever seen. I personally think Winter Soldier is pretty good, Guardians of the Galaxy, but I just think it was just such a different movie that it should have been made by somebody else, like a Fox. Like the people that made Deadpool made Black Panther. I'm not talking about the comedic style, but just the ability to have the freedom to get the message across exactly what I was trying to say. I think it would have been a greater impact. This next thing comes from a tweet from Aaron M. Sanchez. It says, apparently part of Deadpool 2's reshoots included a secret cameo. So there is a secret cameo that possibly was filmed in Los Angeles. Quote, buried in this report about how recent Deadpool 2 test screenings reportedly scored really high. THR noted that in addition to the 6 days of reshoots that happened in Vancouver last month, 3 days fewer than the ones done for its 2016 predecessor, there were also 2 hours dedicated to filming a secret cameo in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, no details were provided about who was involved with this, so we'll have to spend the next 2 months racking our brains about who the subject might be, assuming that the information doesn't leak out ahead of time. So, Deadpool 2, no doubt in my mind, this has to do with Marvel being able to get back some of its, get back X-Men. All those kinds of properties are back into the Marvel fold. And, And there's rumors out there that the Infinity Wars will rope in the X-Men. So I really believe this is going to be a Hugh Jackman appearance for Wolverine. I would lose it if Wolverine shows up. It just shows that there are things progressing to bringing all these worlds together, and that's insane. That if Ryan Reynolds was somehow involved with the Avengers, or even Hugh Jackman. So thumbs up on that report. Continuing on with the Avengers, GameSpot reports Captain America actor Chris Evans confirmed that the next year's Untitled Avengers 4 is the final Marvel movie that he's in. Quote, the news comes from a profile on Evans in the New York Times. The article states that Infinity War and Avengers 4 were the final 2 movies left on his Marvel contract and that he has no further plans to continue playing Captain America. He says, you want to get off the train before they push you off, Evans quoted saying. Of course, this isn't the first time that the actor has spoke about leaving the Marvel Universe. Last June, he revealed that his contract was actually up after Infinity War, but he signed on for one more movie. Quote, he said, I wanted to make the 3rd and 4th Avengers movie as a 2-parter, he said. They had many characters to fit in, Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, and couldn't get them all in one movie. I agreed because it made sense and is going to wrap everything up. So there you have it, Chris Evans. Now, this isn't the first time that Chris Evans has spoke about, as they said in the article. He is going to be Captain America. I mean, he's a really solid character progression if you think about it from the past 10 years. But more, I mean, it's going to be a bummer if Captain America dies. That's all I got to say. All right. That wraps up all the movies. Let's go ahead and talk about what I love most, and that is professional wrestling. This is the WWE portion. I'll try to rope in other promotions, but it's mainly going to be about the WWE because that's something that I could really focus on. I know right now the Strong Style event is happening in Long Beach, and I wish I could go to that. The only thing I went to about from New Japan Pro Wrestling was in Tokyo. When I visit Tokyo, I saw Kenny Omega wrestle. I saw all the wrestlers, and they were awesome. And I love New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's really awesome. It's a different experience, a different style of wrestling. But let's talk about this wrestling. So there's only 2 big events that happened recently as we get to the road of WrestleMania in New Orleans. This one, of course, is Matt Hardy, aka the Broken Hardy, was able to get his ultimate deletion on the Big Daddy Grand Stage of the WWE. So back in the day, Matt Hardy created this gimmick called Broken Hardy, and it had this crazy story and saga in the TNA side of things. It even had its own pay-per-view on TNA called The Final Deletion. And so now that he was able to move to the WWE, he brought his gimmick over finally after all the red tape of all, lawyers and all that kind of stuff. He has his gimmick in the WWE full-fledged, and they brought the ultimate deletion. And I just think that it's an awesome thing for him as a creative person, as an artist, to be able to get this vision that he had that no one thought would work onto this on the biggest wrestling promotion. And it was awesome. It was fun. I love wrestling when it's silly. I still love the 80s wrestling when there was like Big Boss Man and they have, I remember Papa Shango and all those kinds of things where they, the Papa Shango made the Ultimate Warrior sick and he was spewing out green. That really messed me up when I was a kid. I was like, man, Papa Shango's scary. He's making these dudes throw up Nickelodeon green slime. And so that's what's really cool about it. And it's just so silly. It felt like a Looney Tunes cartoon. It felt fun. You guys got to watch it. And if you take it out of context, you're going to be lost, but just go for the ride. Go for the mower of lawns ride and enjoy what wrestling could bring to people. Every time I talk to my wife about this, I'm like, isn't it crazy that wrestling, it's something where, it's a sports event, it's a sports entertainment event, and how, adults know that it's not real in the sense of that the outcomes are predetermined already. It's a written storyline developing in front of you. The action's real, and the physicalness of it is definitely real. But I just love that they kind of just went full, have full comedy. And that's what's really fun about wrestling, is that it could make you laugh and it could be silly, and it's still pretty cool. Because think about it. One of the top wrestlers, or the top gimmicks of all time, is The Undertaker, who is his dead, the dead guy that talks to, that he is the undead. He's The Undertaker, who happens to love motorcycles. And that gimmick has lasted forever. And someone who comes up to the arena and turns on the lights. But yeah, I really loved it, and I'm really happy for Matt Hardy for that. The second story, before we're almost wrapping up this podcast, the second story that I'm going to really get to really quickly is Daniel Bryan returned. For those of you who don't know, Daniel Bryan is a wrestler that got injured severely, had to go through surgery. WWE did not let him wrestle for 2 years because of health concerns. He constantly tried to get back. He said himself in a promo on SmackDown Live that he went through some depression and that he was bummed out that he couldn't do the one thing that he knew on this earth that he always wanted to do. Or in his dream, he said his words that he was fighting for his dreams, and he felt like it was all slipping away. But he constantly, through the encouragement of his wife, Bree, constantly was encouraged to go to different professionals, try to seek different opinions, go to just get the green light for somebody and do what the WWE wanted so he could get medically cleared to wrestle in the ring. And what was really cool about the promo is he called himself a wrestler. Usually in the WWE, Vince McMahon wants to call you a superstar, but he says, I'm a wrestler. And, one of the coolest thing about that moment is that he said, if you fight hard enough for your dreams will fight for you. And I really believe that, and especially it's very relevant to what's happening in my life. I am fighting for my dream to do this full time, to be a content creator, to stream, to play video games, to entertain people, to host things. All that is my dream, and it's right in front of me. And feel like for the past year, there's always obstacles in my way. There's always challenges in my way. But if I continue to fight for that dream will be a reality, and the dream will fight for me. And that's really cool. That's what I love about wrestling the most, is that was right there in front of me. There's a man right there. Even though people think that wrestling's silly, professional wrestling is silly, there's a man out there who wanted their whole entire life to be a wrestler. He attended events. He wrestled in front of high schools. He wrestled in front of high school crowds, bingo halls, all indie events. He got up to the main stage of WWE, got himself a championship belt in front of thousands of people at the New Orleans, and then millions of people all over the world. To have that all taken away from him through the injury, for him to fight back, to recover, to do all the necessary things that he had to do to fight back to where he was, so where he could wrestle again, to take all those insane bumps. I just really hope he changes his wrestling style for his sake, so he could continue to wrestle longer. And I think that's awesome, man. That is something you want to root for. That's something you just want to see, no matter if you're not a fan of it or if you are a fan of it. That is like a big thumbs up for me. So congratulations out there, Daniel Bryan. I thought you would ever hear this, but I just want to let you guys know out there in the Amigo universe that there is, when things are looking dark and bleak, you keep fighting for the light, you'll find it. And he was able to find people to help him along the way, and no doubt you have people to help you along the way. All right, let's get to the releases of the week. Some blitz action here. It's going to go rapid fire to go through all the news. We're about 30 minutes of the podcast. I really appreciate you guys hanging in with me as I venture out this solo. Usually I have a partner, but let's get down to it. Newest hero, Overwatch, is available for all. So Brigitte is available for all. For those of you Overwatch fans, Brigitte, you probably know this already, but just in case you're a casual fan, there is a new hero. It's the support hero where she has a shield. It's more of like Reinhardt, but solo. It's really strange. It's interesting to see how Overwatch is continuing to be a service type game. You've no doubt, if this was back in the day, Overwatch 2 would have been out by now with different kinds of maps and all the crazy things. But Blizzard is treating this as a service. Not only that, they are implemented a feature where you could pick someone to not be your teammate, avoid as teammates, so you handle all the griefers and all the people who are smurfing, all of those kind of crazy things. Overwatch is continuing to thrive. Released this week is A Way Out on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. A Way Out is a great game that I saw at E3 that looks pretty cool. It's about two characters going through, going from a prison break, so they're criminals and all those kinds of things. I don't want to get into the story, but I really like the game. I cannot wait to sink my teeth into it next week. I'm just waiting to play it through. It's like an 8-hour game or so. It's a full boat game in terms of price, $60. However, only one person needs to play it. What's really cool is that your second partner could play online or co-op, and they could just play in. And that's a really cool treat to see, a big studio, EA Originals, allow that to happen, because they could have double dip. But I think they say that the game best experience is to play co-op. I think I'm not quite sure if you could only play it as co-op, but That's really cool for them to do that. If your partner doesn't have the game, of course, you have to download a demo. In terms of the PlayStation side of things, you have to download the demo, and then when you get an invite, it'll allow you in to the full-fledged game. Detective Pikachu comes out on the 3DS. Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom comes out on the PS4, PC. Far Cry 5 comes out on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on March 27th. So by the time you hear this, Detective Pikachu, Ni no Kuni 2, and A Way Out is already out. So Far Cry 5 comes out this Friday. MLB The Show 18 for PlayStation 4 comes out this Friday as well. On the movie side of things, you have Isle of Dogs and a limited release coming out the previous Friday, and Pacific Rim Uprising coming out this previous Friday. In terms of what I'll do my best to do movie reviews as time goes on. It's just right now my schedule is limited due to having my newborn baby around. But if I can find time to go see a movie, no doubt you'll hear the review here on the podcast. Speaking of that, I will try to see Ready Player One this Thursday. That comes out this Thursday. Ready Player One is a film from Steven Spielberg. It is one of the books that is one of the book adaptations that people thought will never see the film. It is chock full of pop culture references. It's a dystopian type future where everybody lives on the virtual online and everyone has all these avatars competing. What ended up happening was the main leader died, and now all these people are competing to take his place, and that is Ready Player One. Not a lot of great reviews, a little lukewarm reception. I like to go into movies with having low expectations and letting it pick me up and see what happens there. So I'm intrigued by Ready Player One. Anything with a DeLorean in it, flying with DeLorean, I'm like, all right, you got my money. So that is coming out this Thursday on the, I think the 26th. That comes out on the 26th. So get your tickets there if you are interested. All right, amigos, that was your checkpoints. I hope you guys enjoyed this first ever inaugural solo one-man show podcast of the Checkpoint Amigos. Actually, Checkpoint Amigos show. And I hope I caught you up in all the news. And if you have any questions or anything like that, please message me on Twitter at SanchoWest. You can find this or in the comment section on the YouTube video. And of course, this is on SoundCloud and all the other places you find podcasts. I don't know. I put it on SoundCloud. It goes where it goes. But it feels really good to get back in the saddle. I will continue to improve the show. I will find ways to integrate patrons and things of that sort via questions, maybe call-ins. Who knows? This is just the beginning. If you're thinking like, where's a video version of this? I'm just going to have a video version with just the logo for Wednesday. Eventually, I'll get back to doing a video style things. I just need to figure that out. I just wanted to get something out for you guys. For the people that I want to earn that $1 or $5 support. I want that $1 or $5 to be strong in this Patreon economy when it comes to entertainment and things of that sort. So that's why I'm doing it like this, and then we'll build up to perfection. You never ever start out with perfection. You build up to perfection, and no doubt we will do that with the Checkpoint Amigos podcast. All right, guys, this is SanchoWest. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, ooh yeah, peace.